Sorry for the wind noise, guys, if you hear it throughout this video. It's pretty windy out here, but I had nowhere else to record the video, so... there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk to you about. There was some breaking news yesterday that I wanted to break down. So, let's start with this here. In Georgia, they had a town hall event with their Republican Congressman Rich McCormick. It was at the Roswell City Hall. Now, this district is a pretty solidly right-wing district. This is a district that Trump won pretty freaking easily. So, you know, he goes to this thing and he thinks it's going to be standard operating procedure, just another day, answer some softball questions at a town hall. Turns out, no. This is the first town hall that I've seen since Elon Musk illegally hacked into the federal government and started deleting agencies, since Donald Trump went full 1800-style imperialist and talked about stealing Panama and taking Greenland and making Canada the 51st state and war with Mexico and we're going to take over Gaza and all this stuff. The voters were absolutely, positively furious, bro. They were furious. The thing was so packed that not everybody could even fit in the town hall. There was like overflow going out the door. And when I tell you that this guy was absolutely peppered with hard-hitting questions, I mean, there were people who were like, hey, one of the founding principles of this country is that we're not supposed to have a fucking king, and Donald Trump is basically announcing that he's a king. The White House is tweeting pictures of him wearing a fucking crown and calling him a king. He announces he's the only one who can determine what the law is and what the law isn't. So, like, what the fuck are you doing? He tried to defend DOGE at one point and got just colossal. Everybody was like, boo, boo, fuck you, boo. So we are absolutely positively witnessing a sea change in this moment. The tides are turning. People are furious, man. People are furious. And with Elon deleting all these programs and doing all these cuts illegally, unconstitutionally, this impacts a lot of people, bro. I was just talking to somebody who works for the government, and he says that everybody at his job, they fired all the probationary employees, which is a lot of people who moved across the country. They were just about to start working in like a couple months. All of them were laid off. People are furious. They still don't know what was going on with that like resignation email where they said, hey, if you accept this, we'll pay you, etc. Some people took it, still haven't heard back. It's mass chaos. The bosses are like, we don't even know what's going on. We don't know what's legal. We don't know what's not legal. People are furious, man. They are furious. So that was definitely some welcome news that this town hall, man, these politicians, Democrat and Republican alike, are just getting hammered by the voters who are like, what the fuck is going on? Nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted this. So there's that. Then, oh my God, we got to talk about Elon. Bro, Elon has been crashing out probably harder than anybody I've ever seen in the last few days. I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but I promise you it's not. So let's run through the list here. Just in the last few days, and we'll get into some of these things more specifically, but in the last few days, Elon ignored the mother of his youngest child begging for help. That's, of course, Ashley St. Clair. Ignored the mother of his favorite child begging for help. That's Grimes. More on that in a minute. Grimes' kid had a medical emergency. She couldn't get in touch with Elon. He was refusing to respond. He called an astronaut retarded for pointing out something that he said was a lie. He suggested bombing Mexico. He suggested women can never be qualified to be pilots. He called Tom Hanks a fredophile for his, his SNL skit that angered the right. He followed a 17-year-old girl, Trump's granddaughter, Kai Trump. He followed her on social media, to which everybody and their mother was like, holy shit, this is the reddest of red flags I've ever seen. This fucking freak with a breeding fetish who has 13 kids. You better stay away from that poor girl, Jesus Christ. He said journalists who criticize him should be imprisoned, and he doubled down and tripled down on that. Again, more on that in a little bit, because there's some new updates to that. He believed that a fake TikTok video that was a comedy sketch, he thought it was real, and he was using it to attack the left. It was somebody saying that, like, their fucking toddler or baby, like, oh, this baby's trans. They go by he, him, or something like that, and he put it out like, this is child abuse. Totally fake video. It was comedy. Completely fell for it. And he pushed out there a picture from The Dark Knight Rises and thought it was real. There was some bullshit right-wing propaganda about how, oh, there's a Muslim mob or something storming this building, and he puts it out there. And meanwhile, it's a totally fake picture. It's literally from The Dark Knight Rises, the movie. and he completely fell for it and spread it to his tens of millions of followers. I mean, again, this guy is crashing out at legendary levels. So before we get to CPAC and how he absolutely melted down there, a big Wall Street Journal report dropped the other day, and it turns out that Elon Musk is using his relationship with Trump to extort advertisers to give Twitter more money. And if they don't, he fucks with their businesses, he blocks their mergers. It's a very clear case of extortion. He's doing extortion. And again, the fact that the Wall Street Journal is running this is kind of a big deal because the Wall Street Journal is a right-wing outlet. So this is like the right-wing outlets going, hey man, holy fucking shit. Like, we want to defend you, we want to be on your side, but the crimes you're committing are now so insanely over the top that our hand is forced and we got to talk about it and we got to cover it. Okay, so now, let me get to the new anti-free speech, anti-First Amendment crusade that Elon is on. So Trump's top prosecutor, Ed Martin, launched Operation Whirlwind to investigate Democrats for, quote, potentially threatening public officials, including Elon Musk. You're never going to guess who they're investigating. Chuck Schumer. Yes, that's right. They think Chuck Schumer is a violent threat to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. You literally couldn't make this up. This is the most laughable thing I've ever heard. The guy has a spine of jello. And you're telling me this guy is a physical violent threat to you because what? He mildly criticizes you? Oh my God. And Representative Robert Garcia. Now, Robert Garcia, they literally sent a letter to him saying like, hey, we're going to investigate you over this because he made some comment on MSNBC about how like, hey man, we have to fight back against these people. And the language that he used, they're pretending like, oh, this was actually a violent threat that you were giving Elon. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? And this is a guy who will literally go, 1 second he'll go out there, free speech, we love free speech, we love a free press, we love the First Amendment. And then literally within an hour, he'll be like, we should prosecute all these people I don't like. We should prosecute these journalists who say mean things about me. We should try to bring about legal consequences for politicians who disagree with us. I mean, it is just, holy shit, what a colossal fraud this man is. All right, so back to Grimes. So Grimes took to Twitter the other day and said, this is directly to Elon, replying to Elon on Twitter. Please respond about our child's medical crisis. I am sorry to do this publicly, but it is no longer acceptable to ignore the situation. This requires immediate attention. If you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can so that we can move forward on solving this? This is urgent, Elon. So she comes out and says that. There was a couple more tweets as well where she makes crystal clear, like, I've tried to call you, I've tried to email you, I've tried to text you, I've tried to DM you, I've tried to reach out every single way imaginable. You are fucking ghosting me. The mother of your child, you are fucking ghosting me. I am telling you our kid has a medical emergency and you're ghosting me. I don't want to say this publicly. I don't want to call you out on X, but I have no choice. You left me no choice. That's what I'm going to do. So guess what Elon does? Elon sees this, goes into God mode on Twitter, and starts shadow banning Grimes' tweets. Shadow bans Grimes' tweets to make it harder to find her calling him out and saying, hey, our kid has a medical emergency. Where the fuck you at, dog? What kind of a loathsome... This man is a freak. He has a breeding fetish. He has 13 kids that we know of. There's probably more than that. And the biggest deadbeat dad on the fucking planet. You're being told directly that your kid has a fucking medical emergency and you're nowhere to be found? You're nowhere to be found. But the reality is he actually was somewhere to be found. You know where he was? When all of this was going down, do you know where he was? He was on the stage at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. Guys, you know how he started his little fucking routine at CPAC? Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, who literally just did a crypto scam on his own supporters and his own countrymen, he comes out and gives Elon Musk a chainsaw. Because Javier Milei had this bit when he was running for president of like, bro, I'm going to destroy the bureaucracy. I'm going to cut everything in the government. Slash and burn, bitch. Here's my chainsaw. That guy's mentally unwell, by the way. So Elon's like, I'm going to do that bit now. So he takes the chainsaw. He's fucking holding it, walking around the stage and shit. Remember, guys, Donald Trump, one of the things he said when he ran is, I'm not going to cut Social Security. I'm not going to cut Medicare. That's what he said. He tried to position himself as, I'm different than Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan and the other Republicans. I'm not touching the earned benefit programs, the entitlement programs. Then Elon Musk effectively is the shadow president or the co-president and maybe even is the main guy, right? Now all of a sudden, he's making all the decisions. He's illegally hacking into the government. His ideas are being implemented. His policies are being implemented. And he is slashing and burning. He is cutting all these government programs. He is slashing the NIH funding, which is cancer research for kids and other medical research. They cut that like 60 or 70% on a fucking whim. They're dismantling the Department of Education. Who the fuck are you, dog? Oh, you're the world's richest man. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That's not how a constitutional republic and a representative democracy is supposed to work. You're the world's richest man, so we just fucking defer to you? And he's on the stage at CPAC doing his little fucking, I'm going to chainsaw the government budget thing. Are you fucking kidding me? As your kid is having a medical emergency, this is how you're wasting your time. But guys, it gets way, way worse than that. It gets way, way worse than that. So Elon comes out. He has sunglasses on. Weird, right? Sunglasses inside. Very dark, very large sunglasses. And it is super obvious he is high as ball sacks, dog. I mean, he is tripping on a level that humans have rarely reached in all of human history. It is so obvious that he's high on ketamine that, you know, even somebody who knows nothing about ketamine would look at him and be like, yeah, he's on something. He's definitely on fucking something. So he was unable to form sentences in a coherent way. He looked like he was ready to fall down. And one of the things he said, by the way, in his like ketamine high stupor is he's talking about we're going to cut $500 billion from programs like Social Security and Medicare. This guy's approval rating, just so you know, has collapsed all the way. The new low I just saw was 34%. Dog, this is the first month. This is literally just the first month. You know how long it usually takes for somebody who's in a position of power to crater that far? 34%. 34%. This guy, but when all's said and done, this dude's going to have like an 18% approval rating. He is so loud and so vocal and so extreme and so undemocratic and so fascist and so insane. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if somebody, you know, in the deep state at the FBI, the CIA, the Pentagon or whatever is like, man, I don't know, dog. We might have to do it. We might have to do it. This guy's destroying the country. This guy's any plausible deniability about the U.S. still being the world superpower and still being like the adult nation. Like it's so destroyed in so many different ways that, you know, you're almost looking at it going, how do we get through 4 years of this? How do we fucking get through 4 years of this? So I don't know if you're going to hear this. I'll try to play. This is, I don't have the ability to actually put the video in here right now for you. Kind of doing this last minute, and I got somewhere I got to go in a sec, but I want to see if you guys can hear some of, this is how fucked up he was. Ready?
If you got to protect the First Amendment, it's not much more important than that.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of criticism, and people said, well, that proves he's a huge idiot from a, you know, like, look, you know, he voted for whatever, $44 billion, and now it's worth like 8 cents. And
it's not worth 8 cents.
But you know, there's that. But it was essentially to you know, buy freedom of expression.
If you got to protect the First Amendment.
Barely could talk. Barely could fucking talk. By the way, long-term effects of ketamine use on the mind. Ready? Memory loss, confusion, paranoia, shortened attention span, and mood swings. He checks every single box. Okay. So Elon was crashing out. He was tweaking on stage. It was disastrous to see. By the way, you fucking deadbeat prick. Go take care of your kid. What the fuck's the matter with you? But get this. Sloppy Steve Bannon comes out. He gives a speech. Guess what he decided to do at the end of his speech? Being a little cutesy, just like what Elon did recently, what that weird priest did recently. He hit the Nazi salute. Bannon hit a Nazi salute at the end of his speech. Guys, you're not fooling anybody, right? You're not fooling anybody. You're not going to be able to play this game. Tee-hee. By the way, this is one of the things I hate the most about the far right. When you talk to somebody on the far left, they're honest to a fault. They'll tell you exactly what they think on every issue, even if the position is not a popular position. You go to these assholes on the right, they like to play, tee-hee. It was actually a Roman salute. It wasn't a Hitler salute. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm actually autistic, and that makes me randomly love Goebbels and Himmler and Hitler. Like, you're not fucking fooling anybody, dog. We see you. We know what you are. It's not subtle anymore. You're sending non-violent immigrants to Guantanamo Bay. You're threatening to take over all of Gaza and steal Panama, right? This is not like anybody who's I don't know what this is. Okay, then you're not fucking paying attention, right? You're not fucking paying attention. All right, so Sloppy Steve does that. It was so extreme and so insane that the leader of France's far-right party decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cancel my CPAC speech. I'm going to go back to France. Because this, guys are sort of overreaching a little bit. Don't really want to be associated with this, bro. So that's it. When you have far-right European leaders who are like, you know what? Too far right. I think we've gone a little bit too far. By the way, at the CPAC event, there's now this new group called the Third Term Project. And it's exactly what you think it is. They want to end the 22nd Amendment and make sure Trump comes back. And they compare Trump in it to Caesar. Because apparently they didn't read the end of what happened to Caesar. These people, man, what the fuck are we going to do? What are we going to do to these people? All right. So also, we have a new FBI director, y'all. And his name is Kash Patel. Now, this guy, of all of Trump's picks, and there were a lot of horrible ones, your RFK Jr.'s, your Pete Hegseths, even your fucking Marco Rubios, right? Warmongering neocon prick. All of them are bad. But one stood out above and beyond the rest. Who am I talking about? Kash Patel. Kash Patel, in 2022, released a book about how Donald Trump is a king. It was like about the plot against the king and the evil Hillary Clinton with all her dirty tricks, bro, trying to go after the king, bro, but the king prevails, bro. The king, bro. This guy is the new FBI director at the exact same time Trump and the White House just released a thing saying, no, I am a king. I am a king. And this is the guy who's going to bring about justice. This is the guy who's going to, be responsible with the law. By the way, this guy also, more people need to know this because this shows you the kind of person he is. He's a fucking snake oil salesman. He's a con artist on top of an authoritarian fascist. He promoted these fake pills which are supposed to reverse the vaccine. It's an mRNA detox pill that reverses the vaccine. And he was hawking these things. He was selling these things, these fake pills. We are being run by criminals who buy 4 a.m. infomercial slots and try to sell holy water and shit. It truly is a kakistocracy. It truly is. That's government basically ruled by the dumbest people among us, the worst people among us, the least qualified people among us. That's clearly what we're witnessing. All right, and then just a few more for you here, but remember how we discussed the other day that DOGE fired a lot of people in the National Nuclear Security Administration, which, by the way, on name alone, if you're looking for where to make cuts, it's I think I'll leave alone the National Nuclear Security Administration. That sounds kind of important. Even if you think, they just oversee our nuclear power plants, even that is I don't want a meltdown. I don't want a mistake. I don't want an accident. So maybe I'll keep these guys on. But the reality is they oversee our nuclear weapons. Well, guess what? We learned they fired 300 of these people. They brought back all but 28 because they realized just how horribly they fucked up and that this was totally untenable. But you ready for this? They actually fired the top authority for all nuclear safety matters. Literally the highest guy who knows everything, does everything, is the boss, is the most important one. They fired him. Bro, what the fuck are we doing, dog? What are we doing? If that doesn't show you what this is, just how horrific a coup we're witnessing, I don't know what does, man. Now, Elon came out and said, remember this? That people working for DOGE would get zero compensation. Now, remember, we got some 19-year-old pilled-up Groyper freaks. We got some 21-year-old pilled-up Groyper freaks. These are all people with shady backgrounds. One of them was running some website that had Fredophilia on it and KKK stuff on it, just incredibly dark, right? It was like a website built towards anonymity. Oh, nobody knows what you're doing. And say, I'm hosting a website, knowing going into it, this is probably going to be used for Fredophilia, right? There's that guy. Same guy told company secrets for a company he used to work at and got fired as a result of it. Now there's a guy who's hacking around in the back of our government agencies, in the back of the Treasury, getting everybody's social security information, everybody's bank information. What could go wrong? No clearance, no background check. Hey, give me all the top secret and classified information. Well, anyway, we learned the idea that DOGE is not getting paid is bullshit. They actually are getting paid. They're getting paid $40 million so far. So far, they've received $40 million in tax money. By the way, what is DOGE? It's fake. It's a fake government agency. It's Elon and like 6 or 7 fucking pilled up Groiper kids hacking around in the back of our government agencies. What the fuck are you using $40 million for? What are you using it for? I mean, what's actually going on here? I think it's overwhelmingly likely that these people are pocketing that fucking money as they kill cancer research for kids. And they kill the CFPB, the anti-scam police, who return $20 billion to Americans who were defrauded by big financial institutions. Again, tell me this isn't a coup. Tell me this isn't a hostile takeover. All right, and finally, we'll end with this. So they were doing some voting last night. Obviously, the Republicans are working on their budget and getting their priorities straight. And at 4 a.m., Democrats introduced this amendment. Now, the idea behind this Democratic amendment is, look, we know you guys are Republicans. You guys are on the right. We know you want to cut taxes for the wealthy. That's kind of your whole thing. That's kind of what the whole fucking party is based around. Okay, we get that. Having said that, for the love of God, can we all agree that once you get to the ultra wealthy level, perhaps these people don't need any more tax cuts? Perhaps we can make it so that they're not the biggest beneficiaries of your shitty fucking budget and your shitty tax bill, right? So this amendment would have stopped any further tax cuts for people making, ready, over $10 million a year, over $100 million a year, and over $500 million a year. That's what this did. So what did the Republicans do? They voted against it. So they said, not only do we want to cut taxes for the wealthy, we also for sure want to cut taxes for people who make more than $10 million a year, more than $100 million a year, and more than $500 million a year. That's what they did. All right. There you have it. Don't quite know what else to say, man, but everything that happened yesterday was insanely disturbing. The CPAC event, Elon ignoring his baby's mother when the kid was sick, to fucking hang out on a stage with Javier Milei, high as balls on ketamine, right? Steve Bannon hitting the Nazi salute. All of it was so disturbing. The only silver lining, and this is a real silver lining, is that town hall in Georgia, in a Republican district, they were absolutely furious. There was a lot of them. They were absolutely furious. They were berating the Republican congressman, and they were like, fuck DOGE, fuck Trump, fuck Elon Musk. What are you going to do to stop them? That's what they were saying. So the sea change is already fucking happening. We've already seen the cratering of Trump's poll numbers and Elon's poll numbers. We've already seen that. And it's only going to get worse, y'all. It's only going to get worse.